Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something super exciting, Zenless Zone Zero 1.5 and its fantastic roster of characters. If you've been playing, you already know how diverse and unique these characters are, not just in their personalities but also in their abilities and playstyles. Each one brings something fresh to the table, and when paired up with the right team, they can create some seriously awesome synergies. But let's face it, we all want to know which ones truly stand out in combat, right? Well, you're in luck because in this video, we're going to rank all the characters in a fun and honest tier list. So, if you've been wondering who to max out or who might just be a bit of a letdown, stick around. Now, if you've played Zenless Zone Zero, you know it's all about those intense battles and strategic team compositions. It's not just about picking the flashiest characters, but finding the right mix to crush those challenges. Whether you're into high damage dealers or support units that can turn the tide of battle, there's something for everyone. So let's take a look at who shines brightest in the latest update and who might need a bit more love. Grab your popcorn, it's tier list time. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Zenless Zone Zero. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Billy. Alright, let's talk about Billy, the character who might seem like a solid pick at first, but trust me, he's a bit of a gamble. Billy's your free attack unit who can hit from a distance, and while that sounds cool, it's all about the catch. He's got this ability called Crouching Shot, and while it does boost his damage, the trade-off is steep. He has to go full stationary mode while targeting just one enemy at a time. So yeah, forget about rapid fire or taking on multiple foes. Billy's not your guy for crowd control. Now, you can imagine how risky that is in a fight, right? Sure, if you're just picking off one enemy and you've got a safe spot, Billy can do some damage. But the second things get hectic, or if enemies swarm him, it's not looking great. He's locked into one target while standing still, which leaves him vulnerable to getting overwhelmed fast. So, unless you're able to position him perfectly and keep the enemies at bay, Billy's not exactly the most reliable in chaotic battles. He's fun for some solo hits, but you might want to look elsewhere if you're expecting him to carry the team. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ben and Corin. Alright, let's get into it. If you're playing Zenless Zone Zero and find yourself leaning towards units that can hold their own but might not be shining like the S tiers, then Ben and Corin from the C tier might just be what you're looking for. Don't let their lower rank fool you. These two bring something unique to the table. Let's start with Ben. Now, Ben is all about that defense life. His EX special attack gives him the ability to shield up his team, and that's clutch, especially when you're up against those tough bosses that hit like a truck. He may not win any speed contests. His attack speed is, well, let's just say, slow and steady. But what he lacks in speed, he makes up for in survivability. Ben really shines when paired with characters like Khalida, where his ability to tank and support comes in handy. It's all about team synergy here. On the flip side, we have Corin. She's an attack unit, but she has a bit of a niche. Her damage output is at its best when enemies are stunned. So, if you're dealing with tough single targets, Corin is a solid choice. She doesn't really do AoE, but her single target attacks hit multiple times, which means she can dish out a ton of damage on bosses that are taking all your attention. If you've got someone to stun the enemy for you, Corin's gonna be your go-to DPS machine. She may not be as versatile in terms of crowd control, but when it comes to boss battles, she gets the job done. So yeah, Ben and Corin may be hanging out in C tier, but that doesn't mean they don't have their moments. If you're looking for a defensive backbone or a solid single target DPS, they're worth considering. They won't blow you away like the top tier characters, but in the right setup, they can definitely pull their weight. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Nekomata, Ambi, Piper, and Anton. Alright, let's talk about some of the B tier characters in Zenless Zone Zero and how they fit into your team. These characters may not be the absolute top dogs, but they're definitely fun to play and can surprise you if you know how to use them properly. So, let's jump into it. First up, we have Nekomata. Now, Nekomata might not be S tier, but she's an absolute monster when it comes to dealing with groups of enemies. Her AoE attacks are so fast and her mobility is top notch, which makes her great for clearing out swarms of weaker enemies. Plus, her dodge counter and ultimate add a nice bit of flair to her playstyle. If you're dodging at the right moments, you'll see that counter attack deals some serious damage. She's a great option if you need to cut through hordes quickly. Next, let's talk about Ambi, who's all about keeping the enemy locked down. Her special attack is a free stun, which is always a game changer in any battle. But here's the trick, you've got to time it right. Ambi's basic attacks hit 3 times before you can really lay down her daze damage with that special. When you get that timing right, the daze builds up fast and you'll watch those enemies' health bars melt away. She's definitely more of a timing character, but once you nail it, she's a lot of fun. Now, on to Piper. Piper is an anomaly unit with a pretty unique mechanic. She can build up her anomaly build-up with her EX special attack and ultimate, which might seem like a lot of work at first, but once you stack up those power strikes, she can boost the entire party's damage. The catch? You'll need to be patient. The process to stack up those power strikes can feel a little tedious, but trust me, the payoff is worth it. Piper's definitely a bit of a long game character, but if you can manage the build-up, she'll be a powerhouse. Let's not forget Anton, who's all about dealing massive damage. Anton is a strong A-rank attack unit with some really impressive burst mode capabilities. His basic attacks hit multiple times during burst mode, and the more you use him, the more you'll realize just how powerful he can be. Oh, and if you've got enemies who are shocked, Anton's your guy. He does extra damage against those stunned or shocked enemies, making him a great choice if you want to control the battlefield. So yeah, while these B tier characters may not be the first picks for everyone, they've got a ton of potential. It's all about playing to their strengths, whether it's Nekomata's speed, Ambi's stuns, Piper's power build-up, or Anton's shock synergy, each of them can turn the tide of battle in your favor. So, if you're looking for something a little different or just want to mix things up, give these characters a shot. They may not be top tier, but they're definitely worth the attention. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ellen, Lycaon, Grace, Soldier 11, Khalida, Nicole, Lucy, Seth, Rina, and Sukaku. Alright, let's dive into the A tier characters from Zenless Zone Zero. These units might not have the absolute top tier status, but trust me, they're definitely worth your attention. They've got solid skills and can make a huge difference in your team if used properly. So, without further ado, let's talk about some of these awesome fighters. First up, we've got Ellen. She's an absolute powerhouse of an attack unit. High mobility and incredible normal attack damage make her a top choice for anyone looking to deal some serious damage. But here's the kicker, her ultimate is insanely powerful. No matter the size of the enemy, Ellen's got the tools to take them down, which makes her versatile and a threat in any situation. Then there's Lycaon, and this guy is a total game changer when it comes to stun abilities. He's all about dealing tons of daze with his basic attacks, and let me tell you, he's a nightmare for any enemy trying to move around. If you throw him on an ice team, he gets even better thanks to his ice RES shred. He's solid on any squad, but if you're running with some icy units, Lycaon's your guy for sure. Next, we have Grace, an anomaly unit that packs a punch. What makes Grace special is her ability to deal damage through shock, and here's where it gets cool. Even when she's not active, enemies affected by her shock can still take damage. Imagine pairing her up with an attack unit to just keep piling on that damage while she's chilling in the background. Talk about some serious teamwork. Now let's talk about Soldier 11. This fire attack unit is an absolute beast when it comes to dealing damage, especially against stunned enemies. Her X special attack or chain attack activates fire suppression, which boosts her basic and dash attack damage. If you like dealing with status effects, Soldier 11's one of the easiest to use and still packs a punch. Khalida's next, and she's another stun specialist, but with a twist, she excels at dealing daze damage. The real cherry on top though is her ability to boost the party's chain attack damage when enemies are stunned. If you've got Ben on your team, Khalida gets even better. Together, they're a dynamic duo and you'll be seeing a lot of high damage output. Let's talk about Nicole now. She's a free support unit, and while that may sound simple, don't let it fool you. Nicole can gather enemies with her EX special attack and reduce their DF with her enhanced attacks. She shines when facing off against smaller enemies but might struggle a bit with those heavier hitters. But overall, she's super useful for keeping the enemy in check and boosting your team's overall effectiveness. Lucy's up next, and she's a top tier support unit who specializes in off-field damage. Her guard bore summons are a unique mechanic that deals damage while providing 80k buffs to your team after they explode. Lucy's all about keeping things lively while boosting the squad, and if you're looking for someone who can bring value even when not directly on the battlefield, Lucy's your girl. Last but not least, we have Seth, a solid defense unit. Seth can shield your party, which is always a lifesaver, but that's not all. Characters who are shielded by him also get an anomaly proficiency buff. This makes him an amazing support character, especially for anomaly-centric teams. He's a great way to keep your squad alive longer while making sure they're hitting hard when the time comes. There you have it. These A-tier characters in Zenless Zone Zero might not be the absolute best, but trust me, they can hold their own and definitely bring a lot of value to your team. Whether you're looking for damage, support, or some solid utility, these units are going to help you crush it in your battles. Keep experimenting with different combinations and you'll be unstoppable. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Miyabi, Astra, Caesar, Yanagi, Bernice, Ju-Yun, Jane, Chingy, Lighter, and Harumasa. Alright, let's talk about some of the absolute heavy hitters in Zenless Zone Zero. These characters aren't just good, they're game changers. From damage dealers to support legends, they all bring something insane to the table. If you're looking to really step up your squad, then this list of S-tier characters is where it's at. Buckle up, because we're diving into the best of the best. First up, we have Miyabi, and trust me, this anomaly unit is the definition of raw power. She's all about dealing massive damage, especially with her Frostburn and basic attack, Shimotsuki. What really sets her apart though is how much damage she can stack when you equip her with the Hellstorm Shrine W engine. It's like giving her a damage booster shot that will melt through enemies like butter. Next, we've got Astra, and let me tell you, if you're looking for a support character who can do it all, Astra is your girl. Not only can she provide ATK and DMG buffs to your squad, but she can also enable chain attacks as assists. And if that wasn't enough, her ultimate can restore HP, keeping your team in fighting shape. She's that one unit you didn't know you needed until you tried her out. Then there's Caesar, the defense powerhouse. She's all about shields, big, powerful shields that will keep your team safe while dishing out some serious support. Her stun ability, thanks to her high impact, is super useful for keeping enemies locked down. Plus, her shield doesn't just protect, it also buffs your ATK, making her one of the best all-around support units you can have on your team. Moving on, let's talk about Yanagi, another anomaly unit that's all about boosting damage. Her unique skill allows her to increase disorder DMG for everyone in your squad, making her a perfect fit if you have other anomaly units with different attributes. Throw her in with the right team and you'll see those damage numbers go way up. She's not just a damage dealer, she's a damage amplifier. Bernice, also an anomaly unit, brings a fiery touch to the battlefield. Her ability to inflict burn status on enemies is already a solid perk, but it doesn't stop there. Thanks to Afterburn, Bernice can keep dishing out off-field damage even after she's moved on. So, while she might not be directly in the heat of the battle, she's still causing chaos from a distance. Then we have Ju-Yun, who's all about those long-range, hard-hitting shots. Thanks to her enhanced shot shells, she can deal a crazy amount of damage with basic attacks. And when she's attacking stunned enemies, you're in for a treat because her damage just explodes in those situations. Pair her up with a stun unit, and you'll be tearing through enemies in no time. If you're all about mobility, you've got to check out Jane. This anomaly unit doesn't just move fast, she deals insane damage thanks to her assault attribute. She's an absolute nightmare for enemies and works wonders on assault-centric teams. And when paired with another anomaly unit of a different element, that's when the real magic happens, triggering massive disorder damage across the board. Lastly, we've got Harumasa, a mobile, damage-dealing machine who can hold his own at any range. He thrives when enemies are either stunned or hit with attribute anomalies. His adaptability makes him a great fit for any team composition, and he's more than capable of racking up serious damage from the front lines. So, there you have it. These S-tier characters are absolute must-haves in your roster. Whether you're after raw damage, insane support, or a solid defense, they've got you covered. Trust me, if you haven't unlocked these bad boys yet, do yourself a favor and make them a priority. Your team will thank you later. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.